Hello, welcome to the Simon Fairfield Public Library Board of Trustees meeting for February 26th. It is 7:08. I am calling the meeting to order as acting chair. We have a quorum. Minutes from January. Have everyone received the minutes? And had a chance to read them?
I don't think they're ever here, I think they're only online.
Oh, yeah, I read them.
Oh, I thought this was minutes. I don't think we get minutes on paper. You sent it to
Unless
us.
you- I did.
Sent it
Yeah.
yourself.
Are there any questions, corrections, additions?
There's two sets of minutes there.
Yes, I know. We'll vote on the January 22nd minutes. Hearing no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as written. This is for January 22nd. Second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain because I was not here. So I'm just going to abstain from voting.
So does
Oh,
that mean
then-
Nick has to?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, two abstentions. I
Right.
usually don't put in whose name it is.
Yeah, that's fine, we don't have to. So moving on to February 5th. Those minutes were very short,
2-minute meeting.
yeah. My kind of meeting. Any questions, corrections? No running out the door? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes from February 5th.
Motion to, I don't know.
Just say so moved.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Okay, moving on to the treasurer's report. We can table this if we want to talk to Justin about it, if there's questions.
On the income, the fines, is that like late library books?
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
So these are all special accounts that aren't part of the operating budget. The operating budget's what's voted at town meeting.
Alright.
And then these ones come in and is appropriated above and beyond. So, the income from the fines has not been appropriated yet, but that's how much money he's brought in so far.
I see.
Just find that up if it's 10 cents a day, right?
They do, actually,
Well,
they did.
$1,000.
I have some right now, I need to return.
Yeah, I have 10
Jeez.
cents.
I was just curious what the replacement equipment is at $14.49. I just wanted to know.
This last one here.
I don't know, do we want to table this for the next meeting? The cash flow piece?
Okay, I just want to write that you have a question
I
on
have
that.
a question on the replacement equipment, which is $14.49 for $1,449.35.
Was it, does anybody have the stuff from last month?
I didn't bring my,
Bring anything for second reading. The Wi-Fi in here today.
and then I'm just not, well, other services, would that possibly be
If I go in the doorway.
like paying someone to do programming?
Yeah, that's a lot of money to just say other services,
Yeah,
Other services, 9:35.
$9.35.
like massages and,
Yeah.
jeez.
I don't see where you're looking. I see other supplies.
It was on the first page.
Oh, the same one that didn't.
Yeah, other services.
And property related expenses, it's not a big deal, but I'm it would just be good to, have that on record as what it is.
Yeah. Cause that wouldn't be plowing or anything, cause the town does that.
You're right.
No, it's, some kind of repair or something that had to be done. One actually going down, other supplies, $401. Maybe that was. Those office supplies are there.
And this is since July, so that's what?
Yeah, that's why I was
Oh, yeah.
wondering if we had.
That's true, that's true, yeah,
Oh, yeah, oh.
yeah, I'm looking
So
at it
you-
like,
I'm
oh my
thinking
god,
of
this is in
on
last
two,
month.
Yeah.
Alright. So. Maybe it's in,
Well, Barbara has all those, she's just not here with them.
right, yeah.
She's actually at the planning
Oh.
board meeting, because I saw her clip down there,
Everybody's
so.
scheduled to be.
So she's plus driver, I think.
Yeah.
Um. So I would suggest, I mean, it's not something that we have to approve, right?
No, we don't usually,
I'm
I
just-
mean, people
just,
approve it, but I don't ever make it in the notes
Right.
that it's a motion or anything
I'm
like
just
that.
curious as to what those are. Maybe
But
I'll-
it's probably gonna come up in next month's budget, because,
Right.
if this is from July,
Right,
and these ones are from July as well, all of them
Right.
are.
So does the library buy the ebooks? I mean, cause like $17,000 for
Is
ebooks
that kind of like a license, is that how it works?
Yeah.
to like
Yeah.
get into the,
Licenses, yeah.
I see.
Well, you have to
So-
buy a license for each title.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well,
but
not
look
for
at the
the-
difference compared to print, right? Someday when ebooks are more popular, I bet you that expenses will go down.
Yeah.
Well, also, I mean, Justin was at the Capitol meeting last week, and I'm on Capitol, so he had to present for the library, which was quite good presentation, but he did say that he was buying a lot of ebooks now, and because the library is pretty crowded with, for space, I mean, they need more space, but with doing things like ebooks, they don't use up any space, because you get them directly on your phone or computer or whatever.
I feel like that's the direction most people are going anyways.
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, he did, and I don't know if this is the place to talk about it, but he did, was it in his director's report? Maybe that's in there, where he talks about, there's a program for leasing the ebooks.
Oh, yeah, he did, it was
Right.
in the minutes.
Oh, maybe that's where I read it,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's something to pursue.
Right, it was kind of a win-win.
Print books though.
No,
Yeah.
it was
Wasn't that
ebooks.
print
No,
books
it was
that-
print
yeah.
books, it's something
Oh,
like,
okay.
something called McNaughton Plan, which is
Yeah.
you buy multiple copies of, print when they're in demand,
Right,
and then you don't have to keep them, you just send them
you
back.
send them back,
Or
okay,
you can choose to.
okay.
Yeah.
I was,
Yeah, right, for a
I was
much
thinking it was.
Yeah.
Lower cost,
Right.
yeah,
Rent to own.
yeah. But it's a very old concept. I mean, when I started in the libraries, which is in the 70s, they were doing it at the Providence Public Library, back
Yeah.
then. So I don't know if
Used
it's
to that in Worcester, growing up in Worcester,
Yeah.
all of the new books were.
or McNaughton or something like that,
Yeah.
yeah, with the little green
Yep.
thing on the spine.
Because then they could, rent 10 Danielle Steels or whatever, and then
Yeah, right. And then when the,
send them back.
yeah, right, exactly. And that was always good.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So we're gonna table it? Any idea?
there's really nothing that we have to approve, just, maybe I can even just send Justin an email and just ask him to clarify those, if we
Yeah.
wanna do that.
And send a response to all of us.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to vote on it, I think it's good to just have a knowledge of what it is, so.
Has he gone through all of these with you guys to really?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
not
every
every
time.
time.
So it's
I know.
scheduled for monthly instead of 6 monthly, I
Yeah.
think. It's
Well, one
actually
thing
6
that
monthly.
should be good about, to look at is, this cash flow, the second page.
Right.
It says, because we've changed over to an electric heat system. It used to be oil, and then in the summer it was electric with air conditioning. But now we have, he was saying at the capital meeting, that last month he had a $20 bill from Socias. But I don't know how much the electric bill is. And
How much that'll increase?
yeah, and I don't know how much was budgeted for it. You can probably tell by the budget in the end.
One
budget
of the
request.
trustees sounds the vouchers and she brings them in, usually we can see where they
Well,
are
yeah, he says
by the month.
Oh, all right. That'd be good to
he
go
brought
over
heating way down
Well, he did, yeah,
from
well,
4,309 to 2,500.
but electricity went up.
Right.
So 2,500, I don't know why he would, and in capital, they were also talking about, well, you still need your furnace, can't you buy, what do you use it for? And he said, hot water. And do you have a shower there or a bathtub or what, how would you use that much hot water if you're
Right.
just using it for the sink?
Yeah.
So Capital was talking, and I'm not familiar with any of this stuff, so I wasn't partaking in this discussion, but that there are little tiny water heaters that you can.
You're right,
that work.
it's like it doesn't really save it, it heats it as you need it. It's
Okay.
not like you could fill a bathtub with hot water.
But we don't have one,
Exactly.
so it
right.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
You
right.
would still need the oil heat, though, if the power went out, we would need it for backup.
Yeah, and he did point out to Capital that the first week or two that the new system was in, it went kaflooey. And so it was lucky that they did have the furnace there.
Okay, that's good.
I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to keep it there.
Right, I mean,
But if it takes that much more energy to run it, and that's just, something to consider.
yeah.
If it takes less energy to run one of those on-demand,
Oh, for hot water?
that's the only
Yeah.
thing that they're using it for. Because he really was saying, it would be nice, it would allow me more space if I could take out the radiators.
Mm.
And they
I didn't
are
know
sort of
that.
hot and sizzly for
Yeah.
little kids.
Yeah, the one right behind that table just says hot, hot, hot.
Yeah.
That's funny. Poor kids.
It's a good life lesson.
Yeah, right.
I know, and that's how I used to dry my mittens and hats on.
I know, yeah,
On
exactly.
those exact same type of.
So what
well,
was it-
actually, I have them in my house.
Do you? I love radiators.
Yeah, they're really pretty,
Yeah.
right? So what was the conclusion? They're looking into if he could remove some of this stuff?
No,
or change
he
it?
wasn't really requesting that. He was requesting what we had talked about, which I didn't bring
Oh,
that stuff, about painting the walls and
Right.
replastering and checking
Yeah.
out for asbestos and lead and,
So it's a conversation for a different day, the other.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So.
that's a huge, huge thing.
But I'll put it in here that we talked about hot water.
I look at Rob's.
So looking at, he has a circulation report, we're actually up a little bit, which is good.
Sands are up.
2,600, oh, I see down here, all right. I don't know what metrics are. So, we had chatted about him, wonder how many, door count, good.
Yeah, the door count.
It was
Remember there was
crazy.
a different way the new system of the door
Yeah,
count
and
was
he
did
had,
differently.
Was it in an email, or was it in the director's, was something, it must have been in an email that he sent, how they were able to it showed an increase.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember like how the sensors work now versus before. So one was like when footsteps went by, the other was light, something like
There
that.
was a motion thing, and the
Yeah.
other one is
And now,
it's a battery thing. It
yeah.
just clicks when,
So that's why it's not
It may-
apples to app. Like one's double, I think.
yeah. But I think he's conscious of, because he has mentioned it in the past, when the old system was in, you only count half the people, or half
Yeah.
the numbers.
Right, because it counts coming
Coming
in
in and
and
out.
going out.
Right.
Every time you break that plane, it counts.
Right.
This is one that just goes one way, I believe, so it's more accurate. Is that what it was?
No, it goes both ways.
It goes both ways too.
I think so.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, so overdrive's one that's really
Yeah.
jumping.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, that's good.
Yeah, the library has so much to offer. And
Mhm.
I mean, just being that, I mean, you guys, I think there's Blu-ray DVDs. There's so much. There's Nintendo DS games, and
Yeah.
and I think half of it is really just. I mean, I know there's Facebook and other ways that we're getting our word out there, but it's the more you just keep bugging people and saying, oh, you're going to the zoo. There's all these.
Right.
I think advertising is such a huge part, and just
Right.
reminding people what the library
Right.
has.
Exactly.
Right. I know we talked about that.
So the
different
more
times.
things that you do that keeps it in the eye of the community, the better.
Yeah.
And not just hammering them with the same thing over and over again, like come to the library and get blah, blah, blah. By actually being in the community and doing things like the unbook sale, that was a great
Yeah.
promotion for the space and getting people there on an off day. So things like that
Yeah.
are really good, really important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so moving right along to old business, and he has a thing here for
Okay.
capital projects. And he talked about the security system.
Mhm. Do you know who does Eagle Store?
Eagle Stars, Mary,
Does she and her
husband.
Yeah, okay. Because they've always, I mean, whatever we have now was done by them, wasn't it? Do you remember? I'm pretty sure it was.
So is there security measures in place right now, like any cameras?
I think there's a fire alarm type thing, and Eagle Star did that. No, there is no cameras.
Not really, no,
No
there's no
cameras.
camera.
And that's what he wants to implement.
Yeah. And the way he was talking about it at Capitol, I wasn't understanding, because I used to have one in the library I worked at, and it broke. But we thought, oh, that's fine. We'll just have it there, and it will deter people from doing anything, and it was aimed
Yeah.
at the front door. But he was, and then if you wanted to look at it, because it was a videotape type thing, you'd have to look at the whole video.
Yeah,
to
you
fig-
can't just.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he was talking about it somehow downloading to a computer, so that, and you probably would know more about that. Maybe you would too, Dawn. I mean, these people, probably you, Nick, too. But
Download
that it would be just that you could access it from at the computer,
Right,
as
Fred's
opposed
done
to.
it in our house where there's like a camera and we're like when you're away and then he can see it on the phone like
Right.
the
Yeah.
video feed of it.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
long as there's
How it
Wi-Fi.
works, I don't know.
It's a lot easier with Wi-Fi.
yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
Wi-Fi at the library, so.
Well, even doing two cameras, I mean, one facing down at the door and the register, and then one in the back, just in case
Well,
anything
he was
happens.
also talking about that, I mean, if you look at that library, there's a lot of blind spots in it. And one of the problems is with the DVDs, that they tend to walk away. And,
Just taking them out and like,
oh, yeah.
yeah, they'll just, I mean, if the staff can't see into
Yeah.
that room where all the DVDs are,
mm,
it's just a opportunity happening for somebody that wants to steal them.
yeah.
If they do, and there are people like that, believe it or
Yeah.
not, in Douglas, so.
Does he have
No.
does he have a number account of like how many times this has happened? I mean,
No, he really didn't, and, I don't, some of the stuff it wouldn't really matter, it's a easy way to weed stuff out.
yeah,
It's more of the valuable stuff, or the stuff that you've borrowed from other other
Yeah.
libraries that you're more worried about, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
And-
Well, he had talked about having a camera in the parking lot and at the book depository,
Yeah,
because there's
But he's-
issues with people dumping things in the book depository.
yeah.
What? Alright.
Snow.
Snow?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, in other libraries, I've
Yeah, I
known
haven't seen.
fires to be
Yeah.
started in them too,
Wow.
you know, that they'll.
I mean, the question is to what extent, you know, because I mean, you could get away with 2 cameras, or because they're probably like at least $100 each for a nice camera.
I don't know, I have no
Yeah.
idea.
I mean, we
Yeah.
looked into it a little bit, but it's
Yeah.
around $150 for a camera. Is that what you
We
spent?
I don't know.
Well,
exactly
he's saying
what we
here in the
spent, but-
first,
But you can get the X10 for like $30, I think. you
right,
know.
well, he's here in the first bullet plan for, he would like to get a quote
Mm.
on installing a security
Yeah, might as
system,
well get a
but we
quote.
need to approve him getting a quote. He says, as long as the trustees approve, I will do so.
Well, he can get a quote,
Right,
Yeah, so we'll.
that's fine.
Doesn't hurt.
alright, so,
So what did Capital say about the painting and the flaking of all that other thing we presented to them? Did
They
he talk
were-
to them about that?
Yeah, he did, and unfortunately, I don't have the stuff in front of me, but he had originally put down a $10,000
Right.
quote, because that's what capital requests have to have, at least a $10,000 quote. But then, I saw later, he put down $20,000.
Because we talked about the asbestos and all that
Yeah.
other stuff.
And then in the meeting, Adam Furno's on the committee too, and he said, I think you're a little low at $10,000,
absolutely.
and it should be $25,000 at least for it.
I just wanna make a point with you both, I know it needs to be done, I met with him a couple weeks ago in his office, and there was just chipping paint everywhere. You know that it's lead paint,
Mhm.
and you know there's asbestos. So once that happens, my question is, because I've worked in public buildings and I've worked in early education and care programs for over 45 years, I'm well aware of state licensing requirements for lead paint abatement. What happens when they find that? Once they find it, you have to fix it. So,
So you're opening a can of worms.
you
I guess.
can be, because it can be very, very expensive depending on how extensive it is.
Well, they were aware of all of that, you know,
Okay.
and.
It's something that
Adam
really
was-
should be done. You've got young children in there all the time.
Yeah, because it would have been so before it flaked, right? It would have just been a paint job. So.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It goes
once it
on.
starts flaking. you're in
but he was
trouble.
also saying, like, the paintings on the walls, there's stuff hung on the walls, and.
Oh, like the holes where they're hung.
No, well, I think that little blue boy painting,
Yeah.
which is a copy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, really? Gee, we could sell that and,
Yeah, right.
and do our
Yeah, it's like
renovations.
Yeah, a Dutch master there, but he tried to take it off and the whole wall was coming off.
Oh my goodness.
So it's, it's, and then Jean Lovett said she had that same experience in her office, and that she has a 2005 calendar on the wall that she cannot take down.
Even a calendar.
Yikes.
We'll definitely have to do a big walk around. And I mean, when I was in the library, I was taking a look around, and there was a few lines, but I didn't go upstairs or downstairs or
Yeah.
in the office. But
Yeah, we should
I
probably
don't
do
know.
excursions on occasion, right? If we want to look at something
Yeah.
closer, you know, sometimes you forget when you're there.
yeah,
Okay, so he's gonna look at Eagle Star for the quote, so we'll
Mhm.
say yes indeed.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Star. Okay.
And then looking on to Aaron Sokrat. I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, one of the guys on Capitol, he's a new person. His name is Cesar Martinez, and he seems to have no, it wasn't him, it was, who's the guy that was helping the library when we were trying to get the heating system in, and he said, you can use my license, Mike Fitzpatrick, is that his name?
I remember that
Something Fitzpatrick.
conversation.
Oh, yes, I know.
He
who
was
you
in
mean.
the audience at Capitol, and so he said he had done some sort of elevators on a church where the church, the pastor was handicapped and had to use a wheelchair to get in. So the lift that they put in it, because he had to go up and down too, was much less expensive. He was talking like $35,000 or something like that to do the whole thing. So that was
Oh, that's good.
somewhat interesting, but I don't know if this is what your dad was talking about, this, if it's the same thing. I don't know what a 2.5 stop elevator addition on the back of the building is.
I think it means it's like two and a half floors, you know how it would be like, how would that work in that building? I guess it would be, well, it has to go from the basement to the first, that's 2 floors. And then
Up to the balcony.
up to the balcony, is that considered 2.5? I don't know how, I don't know,
Okay, so
that's the only thing I can think of.
And the other thing he was chatting about in Capitol, Justin was that he favors a piecemeal approach, not what's his name? Drew up.
Yeah, I know who you mean, yeah.
Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Charlie.
And I don't know how the rest of the
Oh.
trustees feel, because
Well,
I
we-
remember we had big arguments about it before.
Well, yeah, well, we had talked about, like, I thought it was a great idea, but then it's like, once you start, you have, there's certain things that have to be done. So if you're gonna do the elevator, you have to do the bathrooms at the same time. You have to. You can't get away from it.
Oh, to make them accessible.
Yeah, you can't, you have to.
Those
And
bathrooms are
then,
very accessible.
those are that's the bathrooms is actually probably
I
the
know.
biggest expense.
But that would be down where the Friends books are right now, wouldn't it?
Depending on the plan, I guess the plan, yeah, there's been different plans. And I believe, one plan was that with the bottom level, let's call it the basement, for lack of something better to call it for now, was that gonna become the main entry? And if so, then that's totally logical, because
Especially with a parking.
somebody's not gonna come in that level and then go up an elevator to use the bathroom. They're gonna come in that level and wanna use the bathroom there. We're talking about handicap accessibility.
Yeah.
You wanna do what's easiest and it certainly would, I think, would be the cheapest way to go.
To put the bathrooms
Yeah.
To
in
the bathroom on the lowest level.
Yeah, it probably.
Now, I remember having conversations with Charlie about this too, where, why do we need 2 bathrooms? Why do we have to have a man and a woman's bathroom? Why we can't,
I
right
thought we
now,
only had one bathroom.
we do, but if
Okay.
we're going to renovate them, do we
Oh.
have to have
Yeah,
2, which uses
is that a
the,
code thing?
I don't know.
It probably
I
has
don't
to do
know.
with how many
As
people are in
long
the
as you
building,
call, if you
right?
call it a family bathroom, you might be able to get away with that.
Right, I bet you it has to do with the number of people and,
The usage.
I guess they
For
didn't
every
count
so
that.
many people, you have to have,
Yeah, or even the 2 family bathrooms for that. Was still-
that's a lot of space being used up by
Yeah,
bathrooms.
I
Yeah,
would think we'd be
I've-
able to get away with 1, but
I never even thought of that.
there's a lot of wasted space, as you know, in the current bathroom.
Yeah.
Right, to meet the
Yeah.
standards.
And that would probably be a later, because when Betty and I don't know why you're smiling, Betty, but
She said wasted space in the bathroom.
I'm gonna put
That
some
was
books in
funny.
there.
We certainly aren't wasting any space right now.
But back in the day, along when Mary Usino's mom was the librarian, her dad had suggested that we use the space and it's all plumbed, ready to go where the furnace is,
Mhm.
right next to there. I
Yeah,
mean, that would be
right,
an easy fix.
absolutely.
Well, I can't be
especially-
sure where the furnace is.
Well, it's downstairs.
Downstairs.
Yeah.
It's, if you come down the stairs and then you, take a left to go to the meeting room,
To where the kids' room is?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
the door on the left, just before you get to the meeting room, is where the furnace
It's
is.
in there. Yeah, that's like almost like dropping the bathroom, moving it over a little bit, but like dropping
Yeah.
it down with half up there.
Working with
I mean, all the
existing
plumbing, all the, yeah,
Right.
all the pipes are there and everything.
Yeah,
So-
oh. Now we don't need the furnace, right, don't we?
I know, for hot water. We could put a shower in too.
All right, well, that's promising, that
Yeah.
could happen. And actually, a rear entrance, every time I use the actual parking lot, I'm like, I wish I could go in this way,
Right,
you know?
Yeah, yeah, I never park back there because I'm not gonna walk all the way
It
around.
depends on which car I'm driving. Car.
I'm not sure about the, I'm not sure what he's talking about here. On the third bullet, adding doors,
Adding actual
stairs and doors to
and-
each side of the attic.
Well,
I
it's,
think that you
Isn't
can
that
walk
the thing, where
through.
you- is that a pull down? No?
no, well,
No,
right
it's-
now, to get up
I've
there,
never been
you
up
walk,
there.
oh, it's
Into the
awful.
attic part.
I've
Yeah,
never,
you have to
Three,
climb these,
like a-
2.5
It's-
foot hole you gotta crawl through.
yeah, and then you bang your head every time. It's really
Yeah, that's
scary.
what they're doing to get in and out of there.
Oh, in the actual attic?
Yeah,
It's big up there, there's
It
a
is.
lot of room up there.
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
well, there you go. Yeah, that would make sense.
Do they need storage space though, or do they need, it could never be, shelving space?
It has a lot of books
Yeah,
up there now.
yeah,
on
yeah.
shelves.
It's
Well, I
all-
don't know if the
it's all
shelves are-
insulated now, right?
Yeah, it's warm, it's
Right.
toasty.
Mhm.
Um,
And then, yeah, he recommended doing this separately from any accessibility renovation and keeping it in-house if we're willing to fund it. I don't know.
Well, then I have questions because I wanna know where he's suggesting that we take the money.
$8,000.
Is it under capital? So it's this is a capital project.
No,
no, well, I mean,
Because
no,
he's saying keeping it in-house if the trustees are willing to fund it, but he has it under capital project, so maybe he's not saying to include that.
no, it's income capital to $201.69. That was since January, because that was $200 and $1.69 in interest, I think. So I don't know, building donations, $950. So I'm not sure what that is. But it doesn't say, how much is in the building
Right,
stuff right now,
right.
so.
We'd have to see that. And that's just the budget, that's something like that. Yeah, that's a good question. Where is it?
So we
from?
can officially call him if we wanna do that, or see where.
Well,
We could probably, I don't think we need to move on
We don't
that
need to move
tonight,
on that
No.
right now.
it's not really
Since-
priority
So we'll
for
ask.
the other things,
Yeah.
you know,
What was
like
the story with
elevator.
the budget deadline?
Pardon me?
Oh, the story with the budget deadline, I don't know if you did
Yeah.
on the phone. What was the answer then?
He said he would like us to vote on it.
He'd like to vote
Yeah, well,
on
we
the
have,
budget
we're
tonight.
not, we're doing.
I know, I'm skipping ahead, sorry,
I
did
know.
I cut you off, Betty, what were you saying?
No, that's okay, just to try to stay on task so we can get through this as much as we can. Yeah, so these are all things under these projects, it's things he's talking about doing, and, I mean, it's nothing we have to vote on, we seem to be in favor of it. There's just a couple questions on things, and I'm sure this will be an ongoing conversation. Like I say, I can shoot him an email at some point, and just, give him here's the things we had questions on.
Okay, if you're keeping track of that, great.
5-year plans still pending approval, need no further edits.
I don't have mine with me.
I don't have any more. It's,
And I remember sending stuff to him.
Since the last.
No, when right after he
Yeah.
brought it up, and, I had suggestions, and I don't know if he ignored them or not,
Is that online for Nick, that was the 5-year plan?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Was it
that a
online
Google
or
Doc?
was it just on paper?
Was it a Google Doc?
Maybe.
Can't remember if it was in Google
Well,
or
Nice if we could
Donna
get you
is
a
the
copy
Google
of it.
lady, so I mean, she's the one that always asks
Oh,
for stuff like
Yeah.
that.
How would we get that to Nick? Somebody,
Well,
if it's online, you
You
could
just
ask,
email, yeah, just
What?
email the latest.
to
ask-
somehow
Add it to your
either
email to Justin.
get Nick a copy, because I think it went
The
out
5
before
year.
he joined.
and
So we
and
can't go
Oh,
back and
oh,
get
oh.
old emails, I don't,
Or I might have it here, I can just.
yeah, I don't
to
think you
apply
Do
for
we have-
certain grants, he has to submit this 5-year plan to
I think
Well,
that
that
was
makes
state or somebody,
until
and then
October, right?
yeah,
It's like a business
We
plan
get
for
to-
the library.
talk
Yeah.
about it, yeah.
Makes sense. Actually, that would be very interesting to go over, you know,
Yeah.
the future of
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah, and is the 5-year plan in, because also Matt had asked for him to do a 5-year budget last year. And then this year asked for a 5-year capital plan. So 5 years are in everybody's head right now, and the state wants Justin to do a 5-year plan for these grants.
For some
makes
funding,
sense.
for some grant money, you have to have a 5-year plan, but he said that nothing that's on the horizon right now requires it, but it's a good thing to have.
Oh,
So
definitely.
you got something that you're working towards,
Absolutely.
instead of just like being scattered like
Mm.
a bunch of rabbits.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
So we have an idea. And part of it was too that what was presented to Justin as his performance evaluation, to correlate those goals with the 5-year plan, which makes total sense, which he already had done. It was pretty much, you know, what he says he's gonna do is what you know, he wants to do, and that's fine. There's no issues with it as far as I can tell. So, yeah, it's something that's, you should have, it's not like we have to have it in place
I think
for
it's just-
funding.
Yeah, it's a good idea,
Yeah.
just to keep you forward-looking too.
And to build upon it.
Mhm.
So the screen and projector have been mounted. Okay, asking for technology and new business, meeting room use.
Projector doesn't. His birthday party went off well.
Does the library rent out space for birthday
No.
parties?
Well,
This
that's
was
what
the
we were
one-
trying to find
That
out.
This was the one-time thing.
Yeah. A
Um,
family requested it, and then it became a question of what's allowed. So
That should totally be allowed. I mean,
Mhm.
that's.
Yes,
And then the
okay,
end it
but are
was.
you reading his?
Yes,
what
and I
he's saying
don't
there?
agree, I think we should, if we're not using the basement and we're open, I think we should allow people to use it.
I haven't read it. No.
What happens, okay, he talks about after-hours use, who's the responsible person in the building?
Well, he says no, Ash, don't do after-hours use.
Well, right,
I would agree with that.
because someone has to be there,
Yeah.
someone from the staff has to be there.
Yeah, he's not recommending that.
No, he's not,
But he is for the regular users, which are the scouts and
right,
brownies or something like that.
but he's talking about somebody from the outside who could be coming from anywhere. No ties to Douglas at all, and it would seem to me that someone would need to be there. You don't just open it up and say, here, have a good time,
But it could be.
and come back
during-
and see the grandfather clock on, and
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
but it could be during regular hours.
that's what he's saying,
Yeah.
yeah. He says not
Yeah,
to
this
open
is a
it
Saturday.
other than,
But we have no policy,
Yeah.
and he's saying that the town has a policy for facilities, town's facilities.
Well, we can just use those, right?
No, he says they're arduous,
They
with
apply-
paperwork and permission from police, fire, and town administrator.
All right, so he's saying they apply, but we could do our own. I don't know.
And the other thought is, which I had mentioned, is to ask other libraries what their meeting room use
Yeah.
is, because they all, or a lot of them do have meeting room
Yeah.
uses.
But
I
he
used to
says they
use-
do apply.
I used to
The
use.
town facilities use thing, but the town administrator has nothing to do with the library.
Well, then why does he say
We
the
have
town
what-
facilities use procedures do apply to the library?
And then, but are extremely arduous with paperwork and permission from police, fire, and town administrator. Town administrator has nothing to do with the library.
I know, but if they apply, how can we not do it, is what I'm, how can we
I
make
think
another
it's the
policy?
town, I don't know, it doesn't say here, but I think it's the town clerk that you apply for
Yeah,
the use of the building. And she has nothing to do with the library either. We are the bosses of the library.
so who told him that the town's procedures do apply?
Because we said there are town use facility procedures,
Okay.
find
Sounded
out
like
about
he
them, so
checked.
he
Yeah,
did,
that's how I took it.
yeah.
Right,
And they said
So
we
if
have to go
they-
by them.
If we have to go by them, we have to go by them.
right.
So we don't bother to ask what other libraries,
Well, we can, yeah, we could
That's a good
try to
idea.
do our own policy.
Well, once it's there too. It's a one and done.
I know I've used the meeting area at the Oxford Libraries many times over the years. And their policy is, you have to be out. The library closes at 8 and you have to be out of the building at 8. The custodian is there and he will lock you in
Yeah.
if you're not out by 8 o'clock. And there's no, and you fill out an application. Now, you give it to the library director, but I believe it still has to be approved by the town hall. Because the town hall oversees all of the public buildings. They have the final say.
in
Just like
Sturbridge,
if you're gonna rent a space at one of the public schools, it ultimately goes to, the administration. to
of
get
the school,
Yeah, to get the final
not
approval.
of the town
Oh, of the
administrator.
school.
Right, oh no, the town administrator isn't involved, but,
Why not? It's,
Exactly. And the town administrator
Well,
is
we could
not
look into
involved
it.
with the library either.
right, well,
In Sturbridge, the way it was, yeah, we had an application, they'd fill it out, and we had a calendar. And we'd write, this was the meeting room reservation
Mhm.
things. And if there was a library program going on, that they couldn't
That's
use
the
that.
person.
exactly, right,
That we got first,
right, and then,
Choosing.
and they couldn't, were they allowed to be there after hours?
sometimes,
Yeah,
depends. It was basic.
Do we now have groups that meet outside of? the
Apparently,
Well, a lot of-
there are,
yeah.
he's talking about grandfathered ones, I didn't know we had grandfathered groups. And, and I think he did mention it as scouts.
I remember
Meeting
that.
Saturday or something.
It's weird though, because the Scouts always had their own, like the
There's
Boy
two,
Scouts.
there's two groups though.
They get like sponsored by someone and they have like a set meeting place, either like a school.
Well, the fire department, is that one? That,
it's
The-
usually, yeah.
It used to be the school for 134 and it is St. Dennis Church for 316, but then there's also the building off the common, always forget the name of that building off the common, that
VFW?
134. It's
VFW?
kind of falling down, it's like a fishing game.
Oh, it's across the street from me, yeah. Yeah, no, that does, that's in the hands of the Boy Scouts.
Right,
That's
But-
134, I think.
right, but in other words, they have their own meeting spots, and I would assume the Girl Scouts are the same way. So that's like, would be only supplemental, I'm not sure why they need it,
Mm.
especially off hours.
If, at the end of that, he talks about, he wants to reserve it at least until such a time as we have proper security in place, and I
That's
think
very
that's,
relevant,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that's,
Okay.
so, yeah, we're just gonna table that until,
There's, the staff is all there. The birthday party went fine, the staff is all there. Isn't that enough security? They can wander down now and then. Deb is there, or somebody's there on,
right, but he's talking about
Out of
opening it up to other things outside of time and whatever, and he's saying not to do it
Friday.
at least until such a time as we have proper security in place.
no, I think he's saying, he wants it only to be used when they're open, but only to public areas upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
But if the basement doesn't have any program, I don't know why we couldn't let them have a birthday party in the basement when the library is open.
Sounds like we already did have one.
We did,
so-
but this is saying no. And I'm saying I'd like to leave it so they could have a party in the basement when they're open.
And there's no program.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah,
this
the
is a
program's-
discussion that Justin
Yeah.
needs to be part
But
of.
I think we should ask him to check with somebody about, can we make our own policy, like Ellie, and look into it. Maybe research other libraries, and maybe we wouldn't have to do this whole town policy that he said is very arduous.
Okay, we'll table that and have a discussion with him. Lost items procedure, what is this?
What's the policing of it?
One accounts. Oh.
I was thinking like lost and found.
That's what I was too.
I was
He's
like, we need
talking
a
about,
policy for
he's
that?
talking about sending the police to people's houses
I
seriously
know.
as a last resort. And I says,
Library.
I'm good friends with the woman who's now the director of the Charlton Library, and she was on Boston News a few years ago. When they picked up on that, and she was so
Cheryl
mortified.
Hansen.
Cheryl Hansen.
Yeah.
She just wanted to crawl in a hole.
When, when the involving the police?
Yeah, and it shows them. I remember Channel 5 showing a cop knocking on the door and asking for this like 6-year-old little girl because she had a book that was lost.
I question the wisdom of using the police since it's a cost, they're high-paid individuals and highly trained for them to go and try to get books back. I used to eat lunch with Cheryl
Oh.
and Margaret Morrissey
Oh yeah.
and all these librarians
Yeah.
in central Massachusetts. We'd go to Bay Path once a month,
Okay.
and then we'd have lunch there.
Yeah.
And we'd say, so, what did you do about the creepy guy? You know? And it worked. I mean, we'd call each other and say, well, you know, watch out for this one, or this one's on the,
Sure.
you know, going to steal all our books and stuff, or our money, or whatever. But just talking to area librarians
I agree.
on a regular basis,
I so
and
agree.
it was good,
Yeah.
and it was healthy, and
Absolutely. You need that. You need to do that. I don't know whatever happened with that group that he was part of and trying to keep going with the libraries out this way.
well, I think he said, Justin said that the librarian in Uxbridge and the librarian in Whitensville have left their
Oh,
positions, and that sort of disrupted
Yeah.
his closeness to them. But
Yeah.
I think just encouraging him to meet informally. You don't have to have a big group like that, because I read somewhere about the Central Mass advocates, library advocates,
Yeah,
he
he
had
was
mentioned,
talking about, yeah.
that it's no longer, you know, they were sort of just being born when the
Yep.
state legislative stuff started this January or something like that, but now they're defunct again,
Yeah.
So we don't need Justin to come.
no,
No.
There's no one to drive at this point, yeah.
it's crazy. Was his family okay?
Everyone's down
They're
to
probably
down to bed.
sleeping, right?
You got everyone down. You got everyone put.
Are
down
they
to
under
sleep.
100?
All right. He says he's under bylaws.
So what are we doing about the police and
He has nothing new to report on it. Well, we had, was that, God, it's been so long. Was it a December meeting, a November meeting? Good Lord. How long ago? I missed the January one. So the last meeting,
it was in January,
yeah, but I missed that one.
but
But we had
wouldn't-
talked about, we discussed this.
Oh, it was.
And I can't remember, we had kind of, the board was a little bit, not sure of it, and he had said that he felt I don't know.
I wonder if it could be something like a bench warrant where someone is at this police station or they're in trouble for something else, like while you're here, you owe $100 in library fines or whatever the case may be. Instead of them going out to search for them, you know, it's like they're in a traffic stop or something. I don't know how hard that is to track them.
Do we send mail, like saying like
Yeah.
you owe?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Call
he already
and-
did, right? So
Yes,
that
he does
calls,
mail, he
mail.
does calls, he
Emails,
does all.
yeah.
This is like the last resort. If they refuse to respond
They've
to
already been
any
cut
of the
off from
communication.
borrowing online.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we could set $100 limit or something, you know.
Yeah, but, for the police to be
I
involved.
really
Yeah.
can't see the police wasting their time going to somebody's house for
Well, I think maybe that's why. Oh,
even
he's yet to
$100. I don't think. but-
submit. All right. I don't know. We'll just let it go and see what happens with that. It doesn't seem like he's gotten. Maybe he's rethinking it too.
Yeah.
Want to
he's-
tell him to hold off?
I know that's the only
Yeah.
thing that we
Hold
might
off.
have to do.
Okay.
We can
Yeah,
talk
'cause
about
there's
it
no
again.
urgency to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. He sent out the transcribed copies of the bylaws. Nothing prohibits eliminating the treasurer's position.
I had asked Matt and, basically Matt, because, the, Capital is looking at, and Matt's looking at, putting in a plan for capital, you know, and for capital requests or improvements or whatever, based on what Munson has done. So I went through and read the whole thing and missed a few meetings in Capital, so I would write everything down and send it to the rest of the committee. Except for there was one thing in there that talked about, that you, and I know you're all gonna groan, allowing capital, in Munson anyway, capital funds to be funneled into a stabilization fund, so you would get more money. So I asked them about it, so
How
this
did you
was,
get more money?
because you get interest, you get high
Oh.
interest, not 0.1% interest,
Okay,
you know, you
real
get
interest?
like 3% or something,
Okay.
much better, 3 to 5%. So, you know, I went back and looked at Bartholomew, that stuff that, and that's who does our
Right.
stabilization fund.
Right.
And we've been nixed on this, but then I said, well, how can Munson put capital money into, and that's what I was asking, you know, why couldn't we put money into a high interest bearing account? And so I got, and this was sort of a surprise, within 24 hours a response from Matt and Jean Lovett saying, well, we have to ask the Department of whatever, Revenue this question. This was a month ago. And it will take 2 or 3 weeks for us to get a response. And I've heard nothing since then.
Yeah.
But then going through the laws and the state laws and stuff, and the Bartholomew things, it said, if you do something like that, you have to have the library treasurer sign for it, or do some sort of approval.
Right.
So I don't, the whole point, or what I'm getting
we need
down
the
to, we
treasurer.
might not wanna eliminate that. It's just that Justin would still be, or I would hope that
Right.
he would continue
Oh,
doing
yeah.
that, because that was, that, the way it's written in our bylaws, it was, the treasurer was a key person back in 1905, but they don't have to pay the bills, write the checks for everything like they used to
Yeah.
have to do. But there may be a role that we wouldn't wanna take away that position
Okay.
right now.
Is Barbara's the one signing the checks, right, or reviewing everything? Is that
Mhm.
right? Okay.
Yeah, it's something to think about.
Friends, they are friendly. Okay, got
Moving on to friends, supposedly they're friendly.
Well, actually, I was not very friendly yesterday and today, because I've been trying to, write the reports to the state so we don't get shot down. And I'm doing fine. I got my report into the Secretary of State. That only cost $15. I mailed it in, and did not email it in because they charge you $3.50 on top of the $15 to expedite it. You know,
If you email them?
yeah, or email,
What's that?
yeah, I know, it was crazy, so I went back to the slow mail.
Yeah. What's it?
Then, I also I had to do something with IRS because I hadn't done it before, and that's why I got, the Friends in trouble for losing their 501c3, but I had gotten it back. And by filing all these reports and stuff like that. So, I went online and didn't cost me any money. It took me less than a minute to submit the report to them. The third one I have to do is to the Attorney General of Massachusetts, so Healy, and so I got her stuff. I had Justin print it out for me because it was pages and pages of stuff, and so I'm starting to go through, and then and the Attorney General's report says you have to fill out. You can't do the easy wheezy, really simple one that I did in less than a minute. To the IRS, you have to fill out their
It's
990
yeah, I do
easy.
those, yeah.
And so I said, oh, okay.
Easy to make it easy.
Yeah, right.
But the
Well, it
federal
takes-
is so much easier than the state.
Well, no, but I mean, the federal, if you do the 990N,
Oh, I know, but you,
That does-
yeah,
that's
right,
nothing.
It does, that's like a postcard.
I know it is.
Yeah.
So I started going through that, and you have to make all the
It has
last
to
year
jive.
has to be
You know what?
perfect, and this year
I'll give you a hint when we're done with the meeting, okay?
okay, phew. So I think I've almost got that done.
Okay.
How was the books or non-book sale?
Well, wait a minute.
Oh.
I'm not done with
Something
this because I spent all day today on it, and then I spent half of yesterday on it, and and Justin says, well, why don't you just get a volunteer to do it? Well, I'd have to put together all the paper anyway to get it.
I could have had a volunteer for you today.
Who, you?
Massimo needs to do a couple more hours.
And is he
today
good?
they didn't have anything to do because Justin wasn't there.
Yeah, well, is he good at filling out IRS forms?
Didn't have any
And
experience in that.
there's all this other stuff. There's like 10 pages from the Attorney General's office after you submit the 990 EZ, and I don't know half the stuff in that.
You just say no to everything. You don't do, you just, is it like, you have to do like pages, like, do you have any other places other than the United States and they've got pages and pages of countries
yeah.
and all these things? Or did you do this, did you do that? Do you have more than $8,000 or $20,000?
No, well, which was
or-
nice. I didn't.
Yeah, right, so everything is so, yeah, it's the state
It's like
that
all
you
the
have
same.
to, yeah.
Well, for the book sale, we got $205, which is fine for half
Yeah.
a day's worth of
Yeah,
sales.
Yeah,
So that
for
was
no
nice.
cost.
yeah.
And we did get, we've brought in about 2,000, which is about right for this period of time for the Friends memberships for this year. And our aim is to get over 3,000 because will be
By what time frame?
by December 31st.
Okay, good. That's good.
So then we also got a grant, which we got last year, and we got it again this year for $1,000 from Texas Instruments as a result of a retiree saying that she would do volunteer work. And I'm assuming she did, which was sorting books for the friends and stuff like
Nice.
that. So,
Thank
we just got that check, so that was nice.
Very nice,
So,
very nice.
and the other thing that would happen at the book sale was one of the people that's the Dynamic Douglas Days person.
Uh-huh.
She was in the library, and she asked me if they could use the 501c3 status up for the Friends for raising money or getting money for the Dynamic Douglas stuff, because they can't
Uh-huh.
get it from Walmart or places like that might give them unless they have that. So I said, well, we'll ask at our annual meeting, which is in April. You know, I can't say yes or no.
Yeah.
And then,
What do you mean for buying without to not pay taxes?
no, just soliciting for donations to Dynamic Douglas Days, which
So it's
they in
tax
turn give the
deductible.
money to, like they did last year to the senior center, and I can't remember who else, but
I'm not sure. who
So
else,
they
but it's
wanna
just-
use the Friends?
501c3. So the other thing I did was I just looked through my notebook because I had to redo the whole 501c3 because I had lost it last year, and so I had all that paperwork in front of me and said,
Right.
all right, this is what you're gonna have to do. Just start it now. Don't wait until the summer.
I know.
Just do it in the cold weather, and so I gave her all the steps that she had to go through, and
Oh, so she's gonna apply herself?
no, she's probably still gonna come. I said, we'll put you on the agenda for the Friends meeting when we have it in April, but, you know,
I
I
would find
that
out if
legal?
there's a place where
I
you
don't
can
know.
ask questions.
And that's, because
Yeah.
that's when I was filling out these reports.
Yeah, I
know,
would
it
know,
would-
because you're gonna have to account
Yeah,
for all that money
Yeah.
coming in and going out.
yeah,
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 I don't
Yeah.
think you wanna do that.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
okay. So that was all the exciting news from the Friends.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on, other old business, are we good?
Oh,
Okay.
look at this last one. I'm expecting another child. That's
What?
exciting.
Oh, good lord.
gosh.
Wow.
All right,
September.
2018 annual report was submitted as approved. Everyone read that, hopefully. FY 2020 budget, it needs to be voted on and approved, or amended and approved before it can be presented to FinCom.
Okay.
So let's look at that. Is there anything after this, can we, we're gonna table this, we're gonna table technology, and we're gonna finish with the budget and be done.
Where's technology? Oh,
After the budget.
okay. subsuming? Sub,
Eat it all up.
Personnel costs alone are enough to subsume our entire budget. I think
Like
that
eat
means
up the whole
consume,
budget,
like
yeah.
consume our entire budget increase. Yeah, because he figured the cost, on the, like, pages, positions, he did an average
Right.
of the minimum wage
Yeah.
present with
So this is what the town administrator, town administrator's budget projection of 233,842, that's what he's going
Yes.
for, so that means
Yeah.
that. And so there's the COLA increases for salary, which makes sense. And then up in the electricity, down in the heat makes sense. Circulating materials is going up by 1,500.
oh, this is it. What are you reading from it?
Sorry. Yeah, so, but he has it figured out pretty specifically for the COLA increase, so I'm not sure this much we wanna do.
No, he has it
Control.
figured.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
we don't have control over that.
Yeah.
Right, and we don't want, we don't wanna not give them that. And electricity and heating, that's kind of is what it is, it's the best protection we can get it's better than it was last year. So really the only change is that like third line from the bottom, with the circulating materials going up, which I wouldn't argue with,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah. So I'm not sure I'm understanding though, this first part of the paragraph.
Where?
After every, like, the town administrator's budget,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're advocating for this budget rather than MAR, the money will not be wasted.
Yeah.
So
MAR
MAR
is
would
the
be
budget
less.
that the, state library.
Right, so the MAR is
set.
225 and we're going for the 233 that the town is
And the
offering.
233 was basically based
The
on the
MIR is
5-year
231.
budget that would keep services the same.
Right.
Even for, okay,
Yeah.
all right, so,
And I don't think there's an issue of not spending money down.
right.
It's gonna be eaten up quickly by,
And so the only thing is if we wanted to go for more,
you can't.
we can't, okay, we can't.
We could ask for what he was talking about. There was a third option which was higher, and he doesn't even really.
That 246,
246
if we,
here.
everything was like ready to go right away and staffing was
Right.
given the COLA.
Oh, the need to ask for 246,000,
Yeah,
to maintain current staffing and increase materials budget to meet demand.
But that was not in the 5-year plan that he submitted last year, but the 233 was. So that's what I'd go with.
Mm-hmm,
I mean,
yeah,
You can't sort of say, whoops.
exactly, right, yeah.
Well, you could, but I
Yeah.
guess it's a good compromise. I'd rather ask for more.
You know, if you wanna add staff or something like that, you know, this is maintaining the same staff.
yeah, I can't imagine,
And it gives a little bit of wiggle room for things, so.
I think the 233 is.
And like he said, he figured a lot of these things on the high side,
mhm.
you know, so as
Yeah,
not
I
to
mean,
get
it's
caught
always the
short,
budget, yeah.
so. I would entertain a motion to accept the 2020 budget as submitted by the director.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Any more discussion? Questions,
On the
concerns?
budget.
No, what are you gonna do when you go home? Yeah, let's talk about the budget.
So cheap. It must be, yeah, it's after 8.
It
Getting
is.
punchy.
Love it that way.
That Kelly must really be punchy after looking at those forms. I've done that.
Oh, God,
I
yeah.
did that.
I'm not looking forward to tax sales.
I do it every year, but each year it gets a little easier.
Do you still do
I
it?
don't even know what to bring this year.
This is my last,
New
I'm done,
laws.
I'm so done with this
Oh,
treasury job.
But I
I've been
have
retired
two
since
businesses
July.
with-
Right.
Yeah, I've been
and
retired
And I
for
can't get
since
rid of this money.
2010.
And I'm gonna close out the account and say I'm done.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyhow, all
Read
right,
it every
hearing no further discussion or questions related to the budget,
Related to the budget.
all those in favor of the presented budget, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Like I said, I suggest tabling technology as we're getting punchy.
Okay.
And, does he need to do it right away?
No.
Oh,
Should we just?
yeah, let's just,
Should we just do
okay,
it?
let's just do it.
I
You
thought
have
the
to go
budget was
back.
gonna take longer, but
Yeah,
That
I need
is-
to go back and, back to technology under new business. He's asking for a request to spend no more than $800 from grants to cover the expense of the computer and mobile scanner.
I think we could, I mean, people have so many computers these days, I wonder if we can get one donated, like a 1 year older version.
Well, it's usually problematic, it seems like, right, when someone donates something and they're like,
yeah, because they already have an older one that's not running the
Yeah.
software.
So that could be really old. It's a possibility.
Well, when I was still working, and that was before 2010, that's when those were bought. I mean, it was a long, long time ago.
Yeah. I'm
It
sure
might have
some-
been 2005 or something like that they
Yeah.
were bought.
Oh, and the technology since then is just
Yeah.
amazing, so.
I wonder what the year he needs to
yeah,
run
we
the
don't have a lot
program.
of
'Cause,
specifics.
I mean, you could save $800 right off the bat by a donation. I know I have like 3 old laptops just sitting around that don't really work. So maybe,
I have one that my husband brought home that I keep meaning to call the Geek Squad and see if there's anything they can do without spending money, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Betsy Youngsman's daughter does a good job on computers. She's the only one on actually laptops, because Justin said, we were having this discussion one day, and he said, oh, well, I only can do PCs, I can fix those or build them and everything else. And Betsy said, well, my daughter used to take all the old laptops out of WPI's garbage, and she'd bring them home and fix them, and
Really?
yeah.
That's a skill.
that's awesome.
So, what do we recommend?
I mean, it's worth a try, I think, to see if anyone has one.
I'd probably be more inclined to buy something new, and then it wouldn't be a
And this
major
is,
hassle to try to
yeah.
get it to work.
And I think what he's, the money he wants to spend is every year we get the
Yeah, we
state
do
money
have
from library incentive grants and
Mhm.
equalization, library equalization grants. And it's like, I don't know, $10,000 or something like that.
Yeah,
And we tend to use that type of money for technology
Right.
repair of what we have now, or if we need a new computer, so it's just sort of keeping up to date.
And am I reading this right, so that he's saying taking it from grants and income in grants right here, so it's 5784 is in that account? If I'm understanding what he's saying essentially?
Well, if we just say, take it out of LIG, then he'll know that that's where we
Yeah.
expect him
But
to
I guess my
take.
point is, there's like, a fair amount of money in there.
Yeah, but these ones, this isn't the total here of the money, because we didn't know what the building donations was for doing, like building the stairs for $8,000. We don't know, because these aren't the totals here, this is just what's come in and what's
In
been
these-
expended since July 1st, apparently. So we, but I think we probably, if we just say, I'm sure we have money in there, LIG, MEG.
Mhm.
But that's to take the money out of there.
Okay. And I have to agree with what Kate says, that I think we're better off to approve buying something new. It's not just for the laptop, that $800 is also for a mobile scanner. So,
The laptop's gonna cost about 800, even without the scanner. They're really expensive these days.
Well, he was talking initially when he
Mhm.
mentioned it to,
I got a good one for $350.
but is it, or are they called Chromes or something like that, or it begins with a C?
There's a Chromebook, which
Yeah.
is like a tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, cause
Right,
it did
or
say
A
tablet or
thin-form
laptop.
portable computer, either
Okay.
tablet or laptop, okay.
So I
That
think
will
he
be
was talking
cheaper.
about the cheap ones,
Yeah,
yeah, that he could use.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to him more about that, but that's just me. I don't know. Could be. I mean, that's just
Well,
$800 that could go towards an elevator. You know.
No, but
No, it
not this stuff.
That's
No.
grants only for technology.
No, no,
Well,
no.
no, but we have another fund for elevators.
Per building.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be elevator.
Couldn't go to the elevator.
Just-
If you wanna stop, if you have a chance to stop in to see him.
Yeah, I'd absolutely talk to him about that.
Alright.
I mean, it's just nice to save where you can. You know, just use what you have.
Mhm.
I just know everyone's got laptops sitting around or tablets. And, and then if not, we can.
I don't think
Hold on.
I don't think he has to start all of this tomorrow, you know.
Right.
So it's,
Well, if
Right.
not, he's waiting a month, right, until we meet.
Otherwise, yeah, because we can't approve it
That would be nice
outside the
to.
meeting.
that's okay.
Mm.
All right, so we'll just leave it be till the next meeting?
Yeah, no, that's tough because he does have to wait another month.
No, it's not. Just waiting another month.
It's
Because
not there aren't
he,
any
did he have
computers there.
anything like,
Well, he
I mean,
says
I
he
think
wants
was
to use it to
feasible.
plug into the projector. He's excited about
and he,
getting
al-
that.
yeah, and he also wants to do an
Going.
inventory of the whole collection. He doesn't have to do that within the
Not
next
for the
month.
regular running of the library.
All right.
So I think
All
it's
right.
all right for
So we'll
Nick to
wait.
chat
Yeah.
with him.
Okay. And I'm going to suggest that we do not approve under other new business that he's allowed to have another child.
it's true.
Just tell, he's telling us too early too.
Oh, I don't think so.
It's-
Yeah, I know, but then if his wife has a temperature of 102 today,
I know.
wouldn't you be a little worried?
That's a little early.
Yeah, I'd be worried.
There you go.
I guess we don't have control of that.
Okay, I think we're good. Our next meeting is March 26th.
Just one more little thing I was thinking about. I know that the town mows the front lawn, and I know they take care of the back. I'm totally willing to spearhead the total landscaping of the front, other than mulch cost, because I've done landscaping forever, and I can prune and get all that poison ivy and bittersweet out of there. That was just something I was thinking about while I was there.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
just wanted to mention that. We can talk about it next
Since
meeting.
we lost Joe.
Joe.
I know, Joe used to get his
Yeah, it was-
crew out there.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of poison ivy right by the steps, so,
Yeah, and if kids are around there, then
yeah.
I mean, from someone who gets poison ivy really bad, so
Oh.
I get all that out of there.
That would be great.
Even in the winter, I mean, I could go out. It's easier to get it out in the winter.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I've been grabbing it all last
You
month or
just,
so.
yeah, I've gotten it in the winter though,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I gotta stay away from any kind of stuff like that. I go cuckoo with it.
So landscaping,
All right,
thank you.
okay.
We should also forward the new, I think Justin has the links to the, like, the trustee.
Trustee.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I have
Should be good
one.
to-
I don't know if
I think I
Justin
have a
has
printed
any
one.
other
Yeah.
ones.
There is a,
Have you, or do you get these emails from the state about,
I do.
yeah,
Are you on
The-
that list?
they're pretty good.
I was gonna ask if everyone was,
Yeah, and I'm not sure
I
why,
got on there pretty quickly, it seemed.
well, you must have requested it then, and nobody else
Maybe
knows
I
about
did.
it.
The things
It's
we
so
used to
hard
get
to-
in the mail?
No, these are, this guy, and I
What's
can't remember
that?
his name, is,
Oh, I did one of those seminar things on
no,
different
he
things.
just, every week he's been
That's good
sending,
Yeah.
stuff about how to run a trustees meeting.
Oh, really?
And,
Maybe I should
and what
read
sort
that.
of, what sort of
Well, they used to
bylaws
have
you had.
trainings that
Oh,
you
I
could go
didn't- I didn't
to.
get
This
those.
is
Okay,
online
well,
thing.
I'll check
No
into what it
gifts. No
is.
one can give us any gifts.
Yeah, that'd be
And
good.
it's from this Massachusetts Library Association, I think,
So
or
what-
it's from the MBLC, either one
I
of
think,
those.
yeah, I
Okay.
think it's hard to
NBLC
search for
ones,
something
but I
like
don't
that.
think I'm on the list for.
Can you-
Okay, I'm gonna,
Forward that to us, Kate, or something?
entertain a
Yeah,
motion to
I know.
adjourn.
At 8:29,
Mm,
okay.
seconded.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes,
All right, a second?
yes.
All right, all those in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
All right, you know it's a standing vote.
Okay.
Oh, it's the trustees.